Hey guys, welcome back to Pinehaven Acres. Today we are going to a rabbit show. Actually, I'm already here and we've already gone through the first show. It's lunchtime now, so I'm back in the car and I'm gonna eat my lunch. But I just wanted to bring you to the show, kind of show you the rabbits on the table and what the judges think of them, and I guess introduce you to the show environment if you haven't already gone to one, and just show you what it's like. This morning I left the house at about 5:30 to get to the show. It was an hour and a half away, and by the time that I got here you'd think like 7 o'clock-ish was early enough, but no, the whole showroom was filled with people. We were able to find a spot and I brought 10 rabbits for me to show. Most of them are silver fox, and then I have one cream d'Argent and one New Zealand. And then I brought a bunch of others to sell. So we got that all set up. I'll show you kind of what our booth looked like. Yeah, the show's going well. We still have one more show to do this afternoon, but I think all the judges are going to take a lunch break and whatnot, and everyone else is. So I have probably an hour or two before then. But yeah, I'll show you around the showroom when I go back inside.
First place goes to PHA 96. PHA 96. Very good type on this doe. Good length of that body. Very nice roundness from the center of that hip into that hind quarter. Very good density and texture of that coat. Pretty good color coming in on her.
PHA 97. Give it a first. It's got good head, good strong shoulder. Just peaks too far forward in that back, causing the slope off. Needs a little more fullness in that lower hind quarter. It's got a great coat. Really good finish. Fair color. That'd be your best.
This one is going to be second. You got a UTC 331. Okay, give it second. It's a little bit rougher in flesh condition. Doesn't quite carry the muscle mass to him. He's got a good length of body, but he levels out over the top of that hip. Slightly out over the. Stop it. It's very even about his silvering over that body, but he gets a little bit sparse about that head, not quite as balanced on that feet or into that belly. He's got a good length of that coat, but he lacks that density to give him a good standing coat structure to him. He's a little bit open. Then you have, how about a WTF 2238? Okay. WTF has a little bit more intensity of silvering throughout. He's got a lot more mass and muscle. He's got good bone, got a good head shape. Very even about his silvering from his head. Balances well from that body into those ears as well, and the evenness about it. He's got the, stop it. He's got a good width of body, but he gets a little bit later start out of that shoulder. Doesn't quite get up and go and get the depth and roundness of the body. Good density to that coat. You choose slightly opening coat, but good intensity of black color. Okay. He's hateful. PHA 75. Okay, he's got pretty good type and he's solid through that shoulder. He gets up and goes out of that midsection to his rounder over the top of that hip. Good with that lower hind corner. He's got a good depth of color, good density as well. It's got a good coat structure, good length. It's very even about his silvering throughout his body. He doesn't quite blend from that head into those ears where he's a little bit more sparse about the silvering through those ears. He's a little bit chewed on that chest. He's a little bit plain about those feet, but good under. Good silvering through that belly, good black color. More flesh condition is PHA 110. She's a heavier silver rabbit. She's got a little bit better top line. She's a little bit of a late start as she gets up and goes out of that shoulder. She's got that depth and roundness a little bit more than the other rabbits in class. A lot more density in this coat, giving it more of a standing effect, but good length. Best evenness is silvering throughout. He's very even and blends from that head into that shoulder to that ear. He does get a little bit darker about his feet where she doesn't quite carry his intensity down, but wraps that belly well. Not you. Nice little junior buck. Let's call him PHA 123. He's got silvering on his head, blends well into those ears and well down that feet. You really get him in a grasp. He carries that silvering very well. It's heavy, but it's very even all over the body. He's got a good length of that coat. I do wish he had a little bit more undercoat to this animal, more density, but he's got good depth of color. When he gets through sight, he's got a decent top line to him. He starts out of that shoulder, still peaks a little bit further forward over that hip. He just needs more width of body throughout to balance, but a good length of that coat as well. Some top line on this junior doe. She lacks a little bit of muscle. PHA 146, a good substance of bone. She gets a little bit heavier on that silvering compared to her feet and her head, but it's starting to come in. She's still working on getting that silvering through her ears. She doesn't quite carry the muscle, but she's got a good length of body. She starts out smooth out of that shoulder stop, but doesn't quite carry that depth over the top of the hips. She tends to flatten out through that midsection and through that hindquarter area. She needs a little bit more width at the base of that hindquarter. Length of coat throughout. So we had a senior buck, intermediate buck, intermediate doe, junior buck, junior doe, right?
Yep.
Intermediate buck is going to be best. The intermediate buck, and then the intermediate doe will be opposite for the black ones. How many chocolates do you have? Through that midsection. Pretty even about his chocolate color. Could use a little bit more density to his coat, softer in texture. He's got a good head to him, but not just spoiled in that evenness of silvering, the intensity of silvering.
What intermediate doe? Oh yeah, I gotta grab that. Sorry.
Give her a first. PHA 112. She's also going to be the variety winner. He'll be opposite. She's a little bit plainer about that silvering, about that head. She does carry a little bit more depth of body throughout, more muscling. I'd like to shorten her midsection, slide her high point further back. She's got the intensity of chocolate. She just lacks that intensity of silvering throughout. But it's a little bit more balance than that buck's. She's got good undercoat to him, just very open in coat. We're going to use the blacks as best. We're going to use the blacks as best and opposite today.
PHA 96. The better type on this though, she's just a little bit rounder through the center of that loin. She's fuller, she comes down into the lower hindquarters. She could use a touch more flesh condition right up over the top. She's probably the brightest on that orange as you look into the coat throughout. Makes the cream color just a little bit more dramatic when you look at her. She's just a little bit cleaner on her color throughout because of that brightness of the orange.
Is it me?
Notice how people get legs.
BHA 97. Oh, just
I did buy a nice white doe today. So I got
very good shoulders and midsection flattened off here over the hind quarter. Nice coat. A little bit loose in flesh condition.
I got some potential.
Best of variety, you can take him back to, he's not going to compete with
2 senior bucks. How about a UTC 331? He's going to be second. Both these guys have got pretty good bone structure, good mass and shape to his head. He's a little flatter in his overall body type, but does have a lot of width in the lower hindquarters. He's got some brown staining that spoils the base color a little bit. He's got a little quicker return to that coat than what I would call ideal for that standing for a little coarser texture. He lacks some silvering up there on the head and on the extremities as well, so he doesn't balance as well as the first place buck does on uniformity of silvering. First place, WTF2238. Good bone structure, good mass on this guy as well. Good length of shoulders there. Blends well through that loin and lower hindquarters. Although he's a little light on that head, he's a little more uniform on all of his extremities to compare to his body. Appreciate his base color a little bit more. He's got a little slower rate of return on that coat as well. Just gives him that stand of that coat a little bit better than the first or second place buck.
I wouldn't mind that.
Okay. Our 168 buck is PHA 75. Yep. A little narrow and refined on that head, like some substance of ears. Good flesh condition, turns well over that loin and into the lower hindquarters. Appreciate the length to his coat, the way that coat stands up as well, and the good texture there. I love the uniformity of silvering on his body and even on his belly. But when you look at all of his extremities, they're all very dark. His feet and legs, especially the ears, they just don't balance with the silvering everywhere else. So that's where WTF 2301. She lacks some body points to the winter ears. She's just a little narrower at the shoulders, a little hollower through the loin and down into the lower hindquarters there. Both those have got good stand to that coat, nice slow rate of return. She's fairly even on her silvering, maybe a little bit more even on her silvering than the other doe is, because she's a little bit lighter on her silvering on her body, so the ears and stuff balance up a little bit better. Having said that, she's still very dark on the toes, the hind legs, and the front part of that head, where it still doesn't balance, even though she's lighter throughout. First place, PHA 110. A little better bone structure, more mass, depth of body. She does get a little hollow through the loin and down into the lower hindquarters. Good slow rate of return on this doe's coat. Again, she's very even on the silvering throughout most of the body, and the ears even balance up fairly well with the body, front part of the head as well. But then she gets a little dark on all the extremities as well. Just not enough silvering in those areas today. PHA 146. She's going to be first. Good shape to the head, substance of ears. Appreciate the depth and rise on this doe. Turns well over that loin. A little rough in her flesh condition today. Really good slow rate of return, good stand to that coat. She's still immature. You can see she's got a lot of black on the head and ears there that haven't really filled in and made it uniform on the silvering. But the body's very even on that silvering. Fairly close to what I would call ideal at this stage. She may end up getting a little bit too white if a lot more of that continues. First place. You can just put scratch on the other one. PHA 123, I think. 123. Good body structure on this buck. Good shape to the head and ears. Good bone structure. Good rise into that midsection. Just turns a little weakly over that loin, but a really good base underneath it. Really appreciate the evenness of silvering. Fairly well balanced from the head to the body. Needs to carry a little more silvering down into the toes and the muzzle, but carries it fairly evenly everywhere else. Appreciate the length of his coat. Pretty good slow rate of return. Good speed.
Really width between those eyes. She's okay. Pretty good length of those big ones for that eye. She's just out of condition as far as that coat. She's very much so. When you take her down, you have to take them over to the behind.
Okay, good silver fox. Appreciate the bone structure, especially as we're looking at some of these younger ones coming up. Structure, good substance of bone, good shape to his head, good substance of ear. A little bit longer and flatter in his overall body type, but does carry good fullness down in the lower hindquarters. He's kind of double coated. He's pushing through a little immature coat there, makes him a little cottony on his texture. Good chocolate color throughout. A little uneven on his silvering, especially as you get to the front third. Ears don't have a lot of silvering, the head doesn't either. And really this portion of the body is just a little bit light on his overall silvering as well.
Open New Zealand to Teresa Christian table. Open New Zealand to Teresa Christian table.
PHA 112. Okay. Good shape to the head. Substance here is a little longer and flatter in its type. Carries good width though through that loin and lower hindquarters. Again, it's double coated. Could use a little more length to that coat. It's a little on the shorter side there. Silver hairs are fairly evenly dispersed on the body, where it's in coat down the sides, but it's fairly uneven up over the top. Lacks a lot of silvering on the head, ears, and the extremities. The doe is going to beat the buck. She's got a little more type for me today, and both of them just don't have the coat points that we need. The blacks are going to beat the chocolates.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please give us a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button to see more content like this.